Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I'm a psychologist doing some of these very basic education videos, trying to help people make sense of both what and why they might have problems, how they might do things to get better. I'm getting some real basics in first of what problems are, and then we'll focus a little bit more on solutions later. Monster making are the problems in some cases. Monster taming are some of the solutions. In this one, I am focusing on what I refer to as reliving, preliving, and living. And this started just a few years ago where I was realizing how many people with anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, would anticipate all of the kinds of things that might happen. Stress about it, judge what the outcomes would be, or what the others would do, maybe avoid situations, avoid friends or family, avoid conflicts, avoid bosses, or come in like gangbusters and in order to overwhelm, to back people up because they'd already decided what was going to happen. This pre-living is problematic. Now reliving old things can be problematic. It can just be memories. It can be a good thing. But some people will have old issues cycle through the brain and kind of, in some cases, take over. That reliving can be ruminating. It can be set up for stress, depression, anger, resentment, all kind of things that cause problems for the person themselves, but also for their reactions to other people sometimes. But pre-living, that's a different thing. That's about anticipated outcomes. That's going through scenarios and to be prepared. Again, is pre-living completely bad? No. It can be preparation. Where it becomes, let me go back. The preparation can help one figure out what are good ways to approach a situation. What are the values that you want to make sure that you're thinking of in advance so that you don't just react. But where it's a problem is just like with the reliving. If it happens over and over, or if it happens for all the possible outcomes, it can take so much time out of your day preparing, or your night, not sleeping, about what might happen. And let's say, if you think of 99 things, 100 things that might happen, let's say in a sense, only one of them is going to happen, at least for one interaction. So that means 99 of them were wasted time. And I can't tell you how many people in my practice as a psychologist would not sleep the night before a session very well. And they would be thinking about, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? What's going to come up? What are they going to say? And it would interfere so much. And often they were just wrong in their anticipation. And so it was such a relief for them to learn that they could just be in now. That when they could recognize the problems from pre-living or reliving, because both of those have to do with things about which they're out of control. We can't do anything about the past. It's happened. Reviewing, reliving, resorting, sorting through what we woulda, coulda, shoulda done. I get that it's a common reaction. It's a very strongly, often emotional reaction where people struggle with, well, why did it happen? What could I have done? What should have happened? What could have happened? It didn't happen. So learning how to back up, slow down, accept that it can't be changed. Look at, okay, here's where positive pre-living, let's call it, might help in preparing for a new situation. But to recognize that it's kind of in the middle that's important. Going to the extreme of pre-living, where a person is going through all the possibilities, all the possible future scenes, what they might do, their own actions, what the other person might do, trying to anticipate, trying to prepare, gets so stressful that you're focusing on something that most of which won't happen. And learning how to, just stay in now. Let yourself be in the middle ground of some preparation, really sorting through what's important here. How would I respond? Can I have a response that if somebody did it to me, I would feel, I don't like it, but I get it. Versus complete avoidance or overwhelming reactions. That focus on what we have control over and what we don't. So try, if you find that you're one of the relivers or pre-livers of the future, does this make sense? If you try to change it, as you've heard in many of my other videos, that pattern gets wired in, and it takes real deliberate focus on trying to remember to stay in now, to do a little bit towards preparing, but then go into the situation. And if you need to, if you go into a situation and it's completely not what you prepared for, and you don't want to react, give yourself a way out to think about, to consider, to figure out what to do. Always give yourself that ability that you don't have to have figured every possible thing so that you would know what to do. Because we don't anyway. We're in the middle of a situation, it's so easy to react even if we've done preparation. So give yourself that permission to say, I need to think about this. Or permission, in some cases, to say, we're not going to agree on this. We don't see this the same way. And again, maybe let me think about something that makes sense for in between, or that we can work through. But really work at that part, that pattern that might be interfering so much. Anyway, that's enough of this. See if it makes sense. Look at the fire together, the deliberate or deliberate, I'll get more things up there about how to make changes, the racquetball metaphor, the shower metaphor. There are a variety of videos out there that are somewhat repetitive, but at the same time, if you've tried to make intentional changes and found that you just didn't follow through, these videos can help to understand why this is happening and understand that you are not your brain. You can actually have manage what you do, even if your brain does what it does, because it's a biological thing, and it can get wired into a default that we don't like later on. And typically we've never anticipated that we would be in that situation, that the default became a problem. But it happens. Okay. Again, thank you for listening, and hope it helps.